3D Rubber Ducky Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi guys, today's video is actually inspired by a lip sync competition I did when I was, I want to say 7. So for whatever reason, I dug out all sorts of old VHS tapes with my family and we were watching old lip sync competitions of mine. I entered lip sync competitions from about the ages of 4 to 12 and I've got, yeah, so anyways, the one I did when I was, I think 7, I feel like it was 7, was Rubber Ducky from, that Kermit sings from the Muppets. And so I was watching, I was like, but anyways, I decided I'd make a little design just kind of in memory of, yeah, some of the more interesting moments of my life. So I hope you guys like this. It's really easy. The background has a gorgeous bubble effect that I did with gel polish, and I love the way that turned out, which would look good on different designs for different reasons. It just has that kind of bokeh, bubbly appearance. So I really like that. I hope you guys like it too. And don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. So to start with, because I am doing all of the background color with gel polish, you don't need to worry about the color that the nail is to begin with. So I'm just going to do an overlay with clear acrylic since I know it's going to be painted. You could, however, if you wanted to, do it with light blue and then just do the little bokeh bubble effect with gel polish on top of it, but I decided to do the whole thing that way. And so after you have your overlay done, file the nail into shape. I start out with a pretty coarse bit to get rid of any bulk and then a finer bit to make it nice and smooth. And then I'm going to be applying 2 layers of a light blue gel polish. So there's the first one. After it's applied, go ahead and cure it and then apply a second coat just to make sure that it's completely covered and it has no streaks or anything funky going on. After that's done, go ahead and cure it again and then apply a moderately thick coat of gel top coat. Then just using the brush that comes in the bottle, I'm going to be dropping little drips of white gel polish into the top coat before it is cured. So just kind of place those down. And they're going to spread out some and they're going to kind of blend together. Let them do what they're going to do and just fill them in where they kind of go and then cure it. After that's cured, apply a layer of gel top coat one more time and cure it again. So there's the background, and then with yellow acrylic we're going to be sculpting our little rubber ducky. So I'm going to begin with his body. So just place that bead down and then sort of pull it up in the section where his tail is. So get his tail feathers all nice and pointy up to that one side and make his tummy area relatively flat. There is going to be some bubbles, some 3D bubbles along the end of the nail or the tip of the nail, so that you don't really have to worry about making his tummy area really round or anything. And then add another circle of yellow acrylic for his head. Very simple, soft shapes here. Like I said, he's a rubber ducky. He's not too detailed. He's just pretty simple. And then the most detailed part here is going to be his wing. So I'm going to set down a little bit more acrylic over the body and then just kind of pull that into very simple little feathers. So it's kind of just with the tip of your brush, just sort of carve those little feathers out. It doesn't really take very much at all to get those in. And then after you have that done, then we're going to be doing his beak with orange. So set down a bead of orange acrylic right at the front of his face and just kind of pull it up on his cheek into a little point just to kind of bring that bill right like that. Give him a little bit of a smile. Yeah, doesn't take, like I said, he's a rubber ducky. He's pretty simple and just kind of fun and easy to do. And then using beads of clear acrylic, you're just going to pick them up and drop them down, and don't do them all right next to each other. Kind of jump around the nail here and there and place them one in this area, then go to a different spot, because you want them to set a little bit before you set another one next to it. So you're not sculpting these at all. You're just setting them down. They will probably spread a little bit, but if they try to get them so they're going to hold their shape so they look like little clear bubbles. And so just keep and layer them up. So as you're working and you're going back and forth and hopping from spot to spot, go back to the areas that you were before and add maybe a second one so it's a little bit thicker in one spot than it was in another spot, and just kind of build them up and keep filling them in until that entire tip is covered in little acrylic bubbles. And as you're doing this, you may, like I said, see that they're kind of overlapping some, and that's fine. And they don't have to actually be circular. If you look at bubbles, they're not usually perfect circles. So you can kind of just drop them and leave them and not worry about them and just kind of let them be. And then after you're happy with all of your little acrylic bubbles there, then you're going to want to take some diluted white paint and a brush and just sort of wash over them, and it'll sink into the crevices between the bubbles and add a little bit of like a soapy, sudsy look to them without really doing too much at all. And then taking white paint, I'm going to, later on I added some highlights on them, but with brown, I'm going to first add just a couple outlines on my rubber duck, not too many, basically just around the bill and around the wing. So you don't want to do too much here. You just want to add an ever so slight outline just to make him a little bit more visible on some of those details. And then with black paint, you're going to want to add his eye, and then add a little white highlight in the eye just to make it look a little bit more lively, less dead, even though, I mean, you don't want a dead duck. And like I said, add some highlights with white paint on some of the bubbles, just a little white stripe on them just to make them look a little bit shiny, and then apply matte top coat over the rubber duck and gel sealer over the top of your bubbles. Do a really thin layer of gel sealer so it doesn't fill in all of the bubble texture. It does leave it still nice and bumpy. And that is it. Like I said, very simple design here, just something that I wanted to do just as I was watching. I was like, oh, it'd be fun to make a rubber duck nail. And then of course I had to do it. So I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and please share recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!